Hello, this is the Anime Outlook. Now, I know it's been 2 weeks, but I'm back with some more videos. Now, today I'm going to be talking about, yes, World Trigger. I know you never would have guessed, but today I'm going to mix it up a bit and talk about World Trigger. Now, today I'm going to be talking about one of the types of triggers in the universe of World Trigger, and that is the trigger that made the whole neighborhood a possibility. And when I say that, I mean literally. Without this trigger, the neighborhood would cease to exist. And that trigger is called the Mother Trigger. But before I get into what the Mother Trigger is, please do hit that like and subscribe button, just for support and, showing that my videos are working and that you guys are enjoying them. Also, if you're waiting for the tier list, I have to apologise I haven't released it yet, but I'm working on it. I'm just terrible at remembering names and faces, and it's just a whole ordeal with as well of being busy, but I thank you guys for your patience and waiting. But now let's get to the World Trigger Mother Trigger explanation. So when talking about triggers, they are whole complex alien technology. We have no idea where they originate or where they come from. We can just assume that due to evolution and the progression of science, we've developed triggers. But when talking about a mother trigger, also known as a queen trigger, it's a whole nother ordeal. It's another step up from normal triggers or black triggers. These are triggers that make life possible in the neighborhood, and they are absolutely humongous. They are huge, bigger than an elephant, bigger than a mouse, bigger than a horse, bigger than a house. And yes, that was a great rhyme. Now, Now, these triggers create and preserve the planets hosting the neighbor countries. So in the neighborhood, no matter what land you come upon and land on your away mission, on your trip, on just your random voyage into the neighborhood, because who doesn't love one of those? Everything you're standing on, each planet, has its own mother trigger and is alive because of that trigger. But the thing is, just like all triggers, there has to be a user. Now, a user of this type of trigger is, in some places, referred to as a god. Now, despite the name being god, they're quite the opposite of god. They're more like Jesus in a sense, and they are essentially sacrifices. They become one with the mother trigger. They watch over the planet for hundreds and hundreds of years until they die alone and without any enjoyment, I would assume anyway. But the thing is, once they've died out, when the god or sacrifice dies, the planet risks dying with them, because the god that has combined with the mother trigger controls the weather and even generates heavenly bodies to act as suns for their planets. So this trigger is working on a huge scale, on a huge capacity, and we don't particularly know how it works yet. All we know is that what it can do is of huge proportions and must be operated by someone with a vast amount of Trion in their bodies. If not, you'd probably just shrivel up and die within the few hours maybe, because you're generating a whole planet and even a sun sometimes. Sometimes I can't even generate the courage to... Sometimes I don't even have the courage to confront someone who's cut in line or maybe didn't say thank you. But the thing is, I always get them behind their back and go, goddamn asshole. But that's less about me and more about the mother triggers. When talking about the mother triggers, if the Trion capacity of the god aforementioned is insufficient, the size of the planet decreases, making it imperative to select sacrifices or gods or just the operator of the mother trigger to have exceptional levels of Trion. Now, we all know this because Afrocrator has told us within the manga, and what Afrocrator did is they gave the nickname the Holy Land as a result of their careful screening of operators or gods. So they've obviously chosen gods with an absolutely large and tremendous amount of Trion. So they're called the Holy Land because they have so much land to be holy. And so when analysing this, you realise that mother triggers are the most vital points in both national politics and power dynamics in the neighbourhood. They're completely shaped around them. And you've got to think that in times of war, let's say Medan's in war with Afrocrator, as they're probably going to be at some point. Let's say there's a war. The pivotal thing, I would say, is to attack the Mother Trigger. Because, one, on Medan, we don't have the Mother Trigger, we have an actual planet. But Afrocrator heavily relies on their Mother Trigger, because that's where their land, their planet, comes from. So, the first directive, if I was the general or so forth, would be to try and cut off the Mother Trigger of the enemy nation, and then bam, you are ensured victory. However, that's just one of the many things you could possibly use tactic-wise in a war, but that could be for a different video. I'll talk about different tactics and such in the neighbourhood, maybe if I've got the time. Do comment if you want something similar to that, but all I've got to say is that Mother Triggers are insane. I would like to know more about them, and I do love everyone that's watching this video, and please like and subscribe for more video content. I'll be trying to put out one a week at least from here on out. I'll give it my best shot anyway, but thank you for watching. Love you all.